what I could do, I could take everybody's money, and then when the boom is up, take it, go to the Bahamas or the Cayman Islands, and just disappear.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've heard that works too. Actually,
Yeah.
that's the
Get a different
Sam
alias.
Bankman-Fried
Oh yeah,
method.
yeah.
Yeah.
Die in mysterious ways 2 years later.
Yes, definitely fake your own death. That always helps.
Yeah.
That's otherwise known as Jacob Rees-Mogg's long game.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of a very special relationship, the potato waffles of current transatlantic affairs, all washed down with a lovely mug of political tea. My name's Matt Johnson. I host a show called The Interesting Times, which is taking a bit of a sabbatical at the moment. Yep, that timing, I know. But we've got this, and from the US, it's the host of the Phoenix News Network, Andrea Bridges-Smith. Andrea, I understand you got ourselves a special guest over there.
Yes, we do. It's a little bit weird that he's here with me in Austin instead of over there with you, since he lives on your continent and not mine. But I'm glad to have him all the same. From the Shortback and What's Happening podcast, please, everyone, welcome Belfast's own Adam Byrne.
Thank you for having me, guys. Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. Yeah, it's strange, as you said. Realistically, I should be with Matt, but I'm in Austin, Texas. I like to go all out. Yeah,
it's rather the long way to go round, isn't it, really?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the 11 hours of traveling yesterday was so worth it.
Yes. There are easier ways to get to know Matt, just for future reference.
Okay.
But this is one of the more difficult ones.
Yeah.
When you buy a plane ticket, you really buy a plane ticket.
Oh yeah.
So, like I said, Adam is from Belfast. So, tell us, what's the latest news from Belfast? I hear that congratulations are in order.
Yeah. So obviously, anybody that kind of watched the news in the 80s, the 90s, Belfast was like Syria in terms of it was like a war zone, but now it's just good crack. And like I'm born in 2000, so I'm a millennial baby. And it's really good time. But obviously, back in the day, we had the Troubles. So that was Catholics and Protestants kind of killed each other, and now we have dairy girls.
Yes.
Well, so that is amazing.
Huge improvement.
Yeah, no, but it is really, really good, and obviously our government's back up and running.
Yep.
That's what I was saying to Matt. 2017. So I was in my last year of school, so I was 16, doing my GCSEs, and the government went down, and I'm 23 now, and it's only got it back up.
So I don't know much about this because I'm from America, and we learn about geography when we're bombing a country.
Yeah, correct.
And we haven't bombed Northern Ireland, as far as I'm aware. So muddy on the details. So your government collapsed, and it went away for a while. What'd you do in that middle time?
Honestly, nothing. Like nothing could get past. We basically were in limbo for 6 years. It was amazing. Honestly, the golden era of Ireland. It was amazing. Yeah.
It got a bit crazy.
Yeah. But it basically what it was to do with Brexit and the Irish Sea border. Parties couldn't agree on it. So the DUP just went, nope, we're throwing the toys out of the pram. And they did that for 6 years, and now they've came to an agreement. But hopefully the agreement stays forever.
Yeah.
Because like in terms of like gay marriage couldn't have been passed, like abortion bills, things like that there and everything. Like generally we were stuck in the past, but everywhere else was moving on. So it was really, really frustrating. But now as well, in them 6 years that passed, more kind of integration has happened. Obviously, like Catholics and Protestants, there's more kind of acceptance. Like in Ireland now, we've got a lot of like refugees and what comes with that now, like things in Ireland, like we would have had like your chippies, like Matt will know what a chippy is. So like a chip shop.
Yes.
Yeah. We would have had like Indian, Chinese pizza places. Now like there's Ethiopian food, Vietnamese food. So there's different culture in Ireland now. And it is really, really good. As a man, as you took me for Mexican food.
Yes.
I love my food. Like, so I like, I'm all for diversity because it's for the food aspect. And also it's good to meet people that you would never have thought you would have met. Like I have some friends and they're like, oh, I'm half like Nigerian, and it's like, oh my God, that's so cool. You know what I mean? You learn different cultures and everything. Like I do love that. Yeah.
We went out for Mexican food before this, and he made best friends with the bartender at the Mexican restaurant. So
I used my Irish charm.
I was going to say, I wasn't going to do some racial stereotype about an Irishman making friends with the barman. No, that would have been naughty.
It writes
naughty
itself.
Matt.
Yeah, it writes itself. So it does. Yeah.
while we're on the subject, and hey, let's tackle it because, well, you brought it up, Brexit.
Yeah.
So
Everyone's
you
favorite.
obviously, yeah, why not? You obviously would have been, well, certainly too young to vote, but did you, was it playing out too much over there or?
Yeah, so it was one of those things like because Ireland, like Northern Ireland is like the adopted stepson of the UK. Nobody
Yeah.
wants it, but everybody loves it. You know what I
The
mean?
redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me. It's me, right? It's it's nice and small doses, and everybody's like, they're too fucked up over there. Like, so, I didn't know if we could swear or not. Didn't mean that.
You can.
There we
Yes.
go. Sorry about
Leave it out
that.
on the edits, it's fine.
Yeah. But with like with Brexit, everything was kind of obviously, you know yourself, you were getting the information and everything that was happening first. But Ireland, we were getting the watered down version. It was like a game of Chinese whispers. So that's
Right.
kind of where the conflict was coming back, where it was like the DUP went, nope, we're not doing this. We can't agree with it. But in terms of with Ireland, obviously with the Irish Sea border, if that is to come into place, things can come through, things can come out. So it is, I'm not even going to say it's good because it's not. It's just there's too much legalities going on, and obviously we have the South, which is obviously the Republic of Ireland, sadly. So we would trade with them, but it's come to the stage now. Like I have family down south, and they'd say, like, if we're coming up or like we're going down, could you get me a bottle of Calpol for my kids? Or like, because they don't sell it down south anymore. Like, you know, things like that there. We were like, what are you on about? Like, I can walk into Tesco's, I can walk anywhere and grab it, but because of Brexit, things have gone away.
Yeah.
It makes it harder for trading. Like I was saying, like I have some friends that are business owners, and they're saying since Brexit, like it's hard to get things into the country. It's more kind of like using your own like what's the word? Like products from Ireland and all. So yeah, they're kind of having a negative effect of it, but I hope they do kind of sort it out and they do come to an agreement. It would be nice if they went back into the European Union because
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's been
Well,
what
you speak about the troubled son. I wonder if they look at us a little bit that way. You know, Nigel Farage waving his Union Jack and stuff. They're
yeah,
like, oh, we don't have to put up with that anymore. You know,
yeah.
if they look around and they say, wait a minute, so if we all paid a fiver, they'd have pissed off anyway. Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, they done the sneaky thing. Big Bojo, Boris Johnson. That's what we like to call him, Bojo.
Us too.
He was like, oh, here, if you vote leave, the NHS will be saved and I will go on my bus because he had the whole bus. Do you remember that,
Yeah. Yeah.
And the NHS will get this amount. And it's the complete opposite. The NHS has never been worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think you've tackled it pretty well, actually, there.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I had all this stuff lined up, and I think you've nailed it. There's a point where Rishi Sunak was talking about the fact that this, you know, the Windsor Agreement, or of course, you know, the Windsor Agreement, you know, and about the fact that it allows Northern Ireland now to have access to the UK market and have access to the EU market.
Yeah.
But it also means that it's not part of the, it doesn't pay any money into it. And I mentioned on my market, Northern Ireland now has the Brexit that England voted for.
Yeah. But we only got that from us throwing our toys out of the pram, being like, no, not doing it. And where they've just the English, like Richie Sunak went, for fuck's sake, right? We need to compromise here. Just give them what they want. But that was like, as I say, over 6 years of it. So
Yeah.
we want it.
Have you considered maybe just shutting down the government for 6 years and seeing if you can get back into Europe that way? Just apparently that works.
I tell you what, it's an idea. It's an idea. You know, the only downside, the actual genuine thing is what doesn't work is that the public service workers don't get paid. That's it. If they found a way to get paid, yeah, I think we'd be okay.
Yeah.
But even and Matt will understand this as well. In the UK, there's never been so much strikes happening, like real strikes, like teachers out striking and everything. Because obviously their unions like, here, you aren't getting like a good deal here. Like you need to go out and kind of do something. And like we things like because where I'm from, so I say I'm from Belfast, but I'm outside of, I'm outside of a town called Lisburn, and that's about 10 miles away. So if I was going on a night out in the Belfast, I'm having to get the train. But with that, there the rail strikes. so it was limited. And I know that sounds so stupid, but like it really did work whenever they were striking, because now they've a pay rise, and also civil servants have got a pay
Yeah.
rise and everything. But it's also one of those things. It's like, if for me to be rewarded getting like a pay rise, I have to stop working and make a point. Like the UK is so
Well,
messed up.
we had a rail strike in this country today.
See what I mean?
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is that the Tories are very good at making enemies of the people doing the striking. Like if the junior doctors go on strike, they kind of like go, oh, no, you know, it's these outrageous demands. They're asking for 40%. It's like, no, they're asking you to come to the table, have a discussion. And Sadiq Khan, who just been re-elected just the other day, was very sharp about, because what they actually discovered came to the junior doctors, it would have cost something like £1 billion to give them the money that they asked for. It actually cost them 2 billion because of the strikes. So Sadiq Khan actually sat down with I think it was the tube drivers that were going to have a strike. He sat down with them, said, this is the pay offer, blah, blah, blah. And it was, I think they came to the negotiation fairly quickly. Strike averted. You know what I mean? Yes, you're paying over the odds, but it's a false economy to keep having the strikes, as you say.
Yeah.
It's what people remember.
Yeah.
Make an enemy of doctors at your peril, really.
But it's such a, like, this is what I'm saying, like I'm 23, and even like the whole idea of getting a mortgage, I don't think that would, unless I become a millionaire, I don't think that could happen. Like it's so crazy.
Have you tried hedge fund management?
Oh, I heard that's pretty lucrative.
What about crypto?
actually.
Should I get into crypto?
Do you like getting a lot of money and then losing it and then getting it back? Do you like stress?
Yeah, what I could do, I could take everybody's money, and then when the boom is up, take it, go to the Bahamas or the Cayman Islands, and just disappear.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've heard that works too, actually.
Yeah.
That's the
Get a different alias.
Oh, yeah,
method.
Yeah.
Die in mysterious ways 2 years later.
Yes, definitely fake your own death. That always helps.
Yeah.
That's otherwise known as Jacob Rees-Mogg's long game.
Yeah.
Oh God, what a weird bastard that is.
That's brilliant. Yeah, as I say, it's fantastic stuff. Can we get some news on what's happening with the Tangerine screen, please, Andrea?
Well, yes. It's been, it's never boring over here with him, right? It's goodness. So he's been on his trial, and this was the week where the porn star showed up and started detailing their encounters. So everybody in the jury room just poured some hemlock into their ear after that. I hear there's a sale on the brainworms that infected RFK Jr. We want to get some of those in there just to kind of eat that part of the brain out that had to listen to that testimony. Yeah, just a normal day in America, just very calm. A weird country to live in, guys, frankly.
Can you explain it? So I know obviously Stormy Daniels was the porn star escort sort of thing, and Trump was having like sexual relations with her.
Yeah.
That's a callback to George
Clinton.
Bush and Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah. George Bush, right.
Clinton. Oh, sorry, Mr. Bush, don't bomb my country like you did to the Middle East. But what like was it that he like abused her, or was that what it was, or?
No, it was more that he they had this encounter, and she was like, no more of that. And then somebody approached, I guess she told, a couple of close people, and one of them told somebody, and then so a tabloid approached her saying, hey, we would like to pay you money for your story. And she was like, sounds great, let's go, I love money. And then Trump's media apparatus came in and was like, hey, no, we will pay you off to not tell that story, and we will pay you more money. And she said, that also sounds fine. So they paid her off using campaign funds.
Oh, that sounds really legal.
You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to pay porn stars from the campaign funds. You're supposed to do that with your own personal piggy bank.
Yeah, you should say that to Hunter Biden as well.
Yeah. That laptop.
Yeah.
Who knows what's on that laptop? So so that's basically what it comes down to.
you save up the money for a stormy day, right?
Exactly.
Worth waiting for.
Yes. So if you are gonna fuck porn stars, then you should always have a little set aside, for such purposes. And it shouldn't come out of people who have donated to get you elected. So that's kind of why we're here. So there's a bunch of like paperwork type people who do accounting and receipts, and they're actually the ones that are the most important. But her talking about being under the former president and staring up at the ceiling, waiting for it to be over is just, wow. Again, would really love some of those brain-eating worms right about now, just to get that out of there. It's pretty strange. Now there's another thing going on with him though, and this is, just to add to the whole "how weird is America" discussion that we're having. There are Trump supporters now that are wearing diapers, or nappies, as you guys call them, to his rallies.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, I saw that. I must admit, I thought it was a joke or AI or something like that, but that's a real thing, isn't it?
It is. And the reason for this comes from this trial. So Michael Cohen, who is his former lawyer who orchestrated this hush money payment and is now testifying against him, referred to him in a Twitter post as Von Schützenpants, because everybody's being very mature about this whole thing. And Trump, his supporters have now been showing up wearing diapers and shirts that say "real men wear diapers." They've even got diapers that they're wearing that say that on them. There's some that say "diapers over Dems." And this is all just really starting to feel like an elaborate prank, right? Like,
yeah,
this has got to be
crazy.
some kind of social experiment, just to see how ridiculous can we get people to behave, like a hidden camera show, right? Like that's the only explanation for this. Like, I mean, George Orwell has got to be rolling over in his grave right now, just being like, guys, it's too much. You went too far with it.
I understand George Orwell's epitaph now reads, "Thank fuck I'm dead."
Yes, exactly. Way to get out before it got weird, George Orwell.
Can I talk about the local elections we had here in England?
Yes. I am dying to know what happened.
Okay.
Was it the bloodbath that you thought it was going to be?
It kind of, yes, but not as bad as it could have been.
Okay.
First of all, the by-election for the MP in Blackpool South, the guy that got caught trying to lobby for gambling company, Scott Benton.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's gone. We've now got a Labour MP there.
Okay.
I mean, that was pretty well par for the course.
Right.
I did say that somebody mentioned that the Tories were on course to lose half the seats they were going in for. They did do.
Okay.
Now, the Tories, in fact, finished behind the Liberal Democrats in the amount of seats that were actually available. Not all the seats that were available. The Green Party did well. I did say that they were going to do well, in fact, better than expected. So if you were a right winger, you would have turned into a right whinger on the night. In the London mayor election, my hometown, obviously, the winner was Labour's Sadiq Khan. Okay. So he was in the first moments of his acceptance speech. And Britain First candidates, you're aware of Britain First, Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah, horrible, kind of nasty, right-wing, sort of vile people. Basically, the candidate walked off stage yelling, "Khan killed London." And there are about 4 Britain First members who then joined in and started booing Khan.
Khan killed London.
Now, that would have been the most embarrassing thing for them had it not been for the fact that someone pointed out in a loud voice that they got less votes than Count Binface, the space politician. Not to be confused with Lord Buckethead, the galactic overlord. It can be an easy mistake to make.
Yes.
Do you know what really pisses me off about politics? Like, and I mean this as a sweetheart, like generally never been in a street fight in my life. You know what I mean? Generally, like if you're saying like if I won an election and someone started booing me, I would generally rip their ear off. Like I would go full Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield, bitch, just eat that off, and almost like it's like the Colosseum. Just kind of, you fuck with me, like this is gonna happen again. But we live in Yeah, literally. Unfortunately, we can't do that. You'd love to do the Putin approach to life, just kind of just
Yeah.
disappears. Your neighbor that constantly steals your parking space, just he's gone.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
but you can't do that. The world's
The
not
thing
woke.
is, Sadiq Khan's had his fair share. I mean, Susan Hall was his Tory candidate up against him, and she was sharing all Trump's posts and things like that. And Trump and Khan have Twitter history. I do kind of wish he would just ignore Trump, especially on Twitter. It's what Trump does. It's his thing.
Right.
But I guess it's hard when this stuff is constant. You know, it's like every stabbing that happens in London is because of Sadiq Khan. And, you know, and there's a lot of racist stuff as well. Lee Anderson, who's the one that came out with, he's running it with his Islamist mates, which, to be fair, actually got him thrown out of the Conservative Party. And I didn't think that was possible, you know?
So is
I was
Sadiq
like,
Khan, like, is he like a knife lobbyist or something? Like, how would he be in charge of all the stabbings? Like, what's, I don't get the logic there.
busy man, what can I
Yeah.
say? Yeah.
But this is an ongoing problem. Obviously, in London, England in general, like knife crime it's a big killer, but it's now found its way to Belfast. And I remember having a friend and he told me he carries a knife, and I went, "You're a fucking loser," and I didn't speak to him again because.
Yeah.
Like realistically, if you're gonna have a fight with someone and it's boiled down to it, use your fists. Like,
Right.
but never pull a knife on someone, because it's like even in England, like Matt will know they've these things called Rambo and zombie knives.
Mhm.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
not cutting
yeah.
vegetable with these. You're cutting somebody in half with these. They're like that size.
Okay.
It's like something out of Evil Dead. Like,
Yeah.
but this is what I mean. They're so easy to get. Like, I can go on their website and just get one delivered to the house.
Yeah.
And it's just like if you are, as you say, going to take the law into your own hands, use your fists. Don't pull a knife on someone, because it's so disgusting. Like especially at my age, like there's young people all over the UK getting stabbed to death, coming home from nights out,
Yeah.
and it's like, for what reason? Do you know?
Yeah.
It generally it's really pisses me off. That and acid attacks, hate them. Yeah.
It's
over here
another
it's
thing as well.
guns.
As you say, it's per head. London, I mean, it's been rising everywhere across
Yeah.
England. A lot of that's down to the lockdown. You know, people start to go a bit stir crazy. They lack, especially the youngsters, they kind of lack maybe the social
Absolutely.
interactions that they would get in, you know, any other circumstance. It's not especially big in London. It's starting to creep up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's, I think last year it was, and please don't quote me on this, I think it was something like 120 deaths through stabbings, which obviously is a lot, but we've got 9 million people in there, you know, so when you sort of base one against the other, it's not so much. Yeah.
But it's also it's that whole thing where, me and my mates all carry knives, so if someone starts on us, we can sort it out. And you're like, if you're going out looking for fights, you're a small dick man.
Right.
That is the thing. Like, you should just go out, like, you're going out to have fun. Like, you shouldn't have the idea like, I hope someone starts me so I can fight them, because that's just you literally need psychological help.
Yes.
Totally.
Take antidepressants. Hug your mum. Tell your family you love them. Do that instead of stabbing someone.
Yeah. While we're talking about the right wingers, by the way, yes, and obviously Sadiq Khan's managed to piss them off rather wonderfully. So along with that, the Tories doing badly. Nigel Farage, obviously, Adam's familiar with Nigel Farage in so many ways, unfortunately, as is Andrea, to be fair. Yes. Nigel Farage's party, is called Reform, didn't exactly crush it. The current leader of Reform is a chap called Richard Tice, Dick to his friends. And he's now claiming that Reform are the opposition to Labour. So let's crunch some numbers, shall we? All right, here we go. Labour have over 6,500 councillors. The Conservatives over 5,500. Liberal Democrats over 3,000. Andrea, Adam, care to take a guess at how many councillors the Reform Party have?
I'm going to say 150.
Well, I was going to say more like 1,500.
1,500? You're both well off. 10. They've got 10 councillors. That's it.
Drunk with power, are they?
Yeah, if my maths are correct, it's something which they probably aren't. It's something like 0.01% of the return on the ones that they actually went in for. Anyway, by the way, claiming ridiculous things like how well the party's doing isn't the only thing that Reform and Republicans over in the US have in common. Can you guess what leaf out of the Republicans' book, Reform, and their voice boxes, their right-wing voice boxes, are blaming the poor results on?
Usually we blame things on immigrants, right?
Yeah,
Isn't it
that's the
probably
problem.
immigrants?
This is a new thing. That's very
Oh,
much
Okay.
part of the makeup. They're starting
okay.
to blame things on postal voting.
Huh.
Yeah,
Hmm.
don't do
Postal
so well
voting.
with postal voting.
Okay.
Oh, and the final thing, just in case you haven't had enough of these right wingers being humiliated, and let's be honest, can we ever have enough, right? You're going to love this one, Adam. I don't know if you've heard this story. Boris Johnson was turned away as he had forgotten his voter ID to take to the polling station. You heard that one, right?
So Bojo. So Bojo.
That is so much him. It is
Yeah.
tricky to believe that he ran the country for 3 years. There we go. Yeah.
Do you know what my favorite thing about Nigel Farage is? He does cameos. Right. Yeah. Like, you know, cameos where it's like, it'll be like, oh, can you do a birthday message? So
Birthday message from Nigel
it
Farage.
gets better, right? So these Irish lads was like, oh, could you do a birthday message for our friend Matt? And they got him to say up the Ra, so up the IRA.
Oh.
But he's like, I don't have any drinks, or have some pints of the lads. I'm sure I wish I could join you as I'm drinking my coffee. And he takes a swig of the coffee and goes, up the Ra. And it's viral on like all over like the UK. Like he literally went on the shows in Northern Ireland and was like, yeah, what about you supporting the IRA? And he went, oh, no, I didn't know that at the time. But he was like, but you accepted money to say up the Ra. It is honestly, when we stop recording, I'll show you it. It is so funny because he's like sitting in his office on a Zoom and he's just up the Ra. It's so good.
Yeah, love to see it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Sometimes, let's be honest, some of these English politicians really don't help themselves. You're familiar with the Liz Truss story?
Of her stealing the bathrobes?
Oh, no, the basically the renaming the Prime Minister of Republic of Ireland.
Oh, no.
Let me make sure I get this right,
Yeah.
which is, I believe the pronunciation goes Taoiseach.
Yeah.
Is it Taoiseach?
Yeah.
She kept calling him the Taoiseach. And there's this clip where she's going Taoiseach. And I first spotted it on Twitter and somebody saying, is she saying Taoiseach? You know, yeah, it's delightful, utterly delightful. But not because, you know, we're supposed to be some sort of, you know, big country, you know, the UK and stuff. And these people are just embarrassing us. It's going to be so much fun. And I keep coming back to this. It will be the end of my channel, but it'll be so much fun to show them the door.
Oh, yeah. The best thing to ever happen to Liz Truss during her like being the Prime Minister, and I mean this, I don't mean this disrespectful way, was the Queen Dan, because it kind of took off all the things that she was doing wrong, and she was like, this is my way out. Like,
yeah,
and that's basically what happened. How wasn't it 40 days or something?
Yes.
Yeah, 49 days. Yeah, I think it was.
Like,
yeah.
come on. That's what I was saying. That's work experience. You're doing a placement year in university.
That's crazy. And even during that time, there's all these sort of bits about what she did and didn't do right. There was a point where she was going to do a vote on fracking, and she decided that it was going to be a big sort of milestone, big conservative thing. So she brought in, you understand about the thing about the whips and things like that, Andrea. You know, she brought in whips to make sure that they voted the way that they wanted to vote, that sort of thing. And all these people, all the other Tories started to kick off. It's like, just brought her in, you know, blah, blah, blah. She's trying to do this, she's trying to do that. So they had the chief whip, the deputy chief whip, try and round people up. They got pissed off because people were telling them to shove it up their arse. So they were starting to wander off. So Liz Truss then starts to calm them down to bring them back in. She ended up not voting on the very policy that she wanted to bring in because she was too busy trying to calm these people down. You're like, just a car crash, just absolute car crash. And what's amazing now is she's gone away and managed to convince herself, and I suspect anybody that will listen, that she was right all along. It's like, we were there. It was only last year, you know?
In the UK, we have these like government schemes where it's like somebody that's special needs, if they were to work for you, you get a grant.
Mm-hmm.
Liz Truss was that of Parliament in the UK, honestly. I reckon they got like America give them like 500 million. Be like, if you let her, you know, she's a learning difficulty, like you'll get a lot of money. That's what I think Liz Truss was. Or she was the worst like social experiment ever. Or maybe it was like Undercover Boss.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe all of the government stuff is just a really elaborate prank show
Yeah.
that they've been filming for several years,
Yeah.
and it's gonna come out and we're gonna be like, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like the aliens being like, I remember Liz. Oh, I love her.
Yeah.
Now,
That was
at least that would make sense.
Exactly.
I actually had a look, and she's, I think, the second. She's not the shortest serving prime minister. She's the second shortest serving prime minister. Somebody did it in like the 19th century. But at least they had the good grace to die. That last one,
Exactly.
you know, they kind of like some chap had blood clots and stuff like, you know. Otherwise, you're still around in 49 days. Go open. Somebody said it on some news program, some political news program. They said she should go over to and just have opened a bar somewhere in some European capital or something, you know what I mean? And then get people come up and go, you Liz Truss, what are you drinking? You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Her and Wayne Lineker are going to buy a super club in Ibiza.
There you go. Well, then she wouldn't have time to write her books, right? She's got to write her books, and
I'm surprised she can spell her own name, to be honest.
well,
Honest to God.
we have a book writer over here too that is also a female government official, and Matt and I talked about this a little bit last week. But Adam, have you heard the story about Kristi Noem,
No,
the
who's
governor
Kristi
of South Dakota?
No.
Okay, so she wrote a book.
Okay.
And it's called No Going Back. Because she's strong and she's
Yeah.
tough, and she, you know, has a farm.
Yeah.
And she makes tough decisions, right? So in the book, she told the story of how she shot her dog, which can you think of any scenario where a government official would be like, let me tell you about the time I shot my dog?
Maybe the dog broke its legs and it was in pain and she was miles away from a vet.
That would be, I
Yeah.
think, the
Rabies.
only
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
No, dog was fine, just was annoying. And so she popped a cap in its ass.
Okay.
And then she wrote that in a book.
Okay.
And the PR people were like, she actually wrote a book prior to this. And she had the dog story in that book.
Okay.
And they were like, honey, what if we didn't put the
Yeah,
dog
yeah.
murder story in the book just because it feels like that might not make you look too good? And she was like, fair enough. But this one, she was like, we have got to get that
Yeah,
dog murder
yeah.
story into the book,
It
right?
must have really pissed her off.
Yeah.
Must have shit on her
They-
carpet or something.
If they don't back me blowing some puppies' heads off, then
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, I don't want them on board.
Oh yeah.
Right,
That's a
and-
woman that gets shit done though.
Yes, but the problem now is that everybody is like, Christy, getting back to that dog murder thing, and she's like, I'm tired of talking about the dog thing. Like, we need to talk about other things, because it's literally the only thing she's been
Yeah.
asked about, and she's doing a book tour for this book. And she ended up having to cancel the book tour. She said it was because of snow, but she lives in South Dakota. Of course,
Okay.
there's fucking snow.
Yeah.
Like, not because of the snow. And so even like, you know, Fox News, Newsmax, like all the really right-wing news channels have been absolutely shitting on her for this. She's really brought the country together.
Yeah.
Because this country may not agree on politics, but we fucking love dogs. And yeah, she's really just owning herself so hard right now.
Oh yeah. We had that in Northern Ireland. Matt, would you know who Arlene Foster was?
Oh, yes, Arlene Foster.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah. So obviously there was a big divide, but so basically she done this boiler scheme where it was, if you use this boiler and you keep using it, you'll be reimbursed. But what she was doing, she was getting these boilers and putting them into like farms and like having them on the whole time.
Uh-huh.
And so she was getting free money, but nobody was using the boilers.
Oh.
And when that came out, everybody was like, you dick. And like we kind of stopped the sectarianism, was like, we hate Arlene Foster. But Matt, I don't know if you know this. Do you remember the show Embarrassing Bodies?
Oh, yes.
Right. So the doctor.
You haven't been on it, Adam, have you?
No.
Okay.
The doctor says my free nipples, it's hereditary. My mom has it too. But so the Embarrassing Bodies was this thing where people go and be like, oh, I have genital warts on my hands everywhere, right? And it was this guy called Dr. Christian, and he would kind of do a consultation, refer you to a specialist. He got sued for slandering Arlene Foster, which doesn't make any sense because she's in Northern Ireland and he's somewhere in England.
Right.
and he started saying that she was cheating on her husband. She's like a man as well, which is you can't really be saying that. But it's such a weird crossover. It's like me and Matt having beef with like an American politician. It just doesn't make any sense. It's so crazy.
I didn't know that story. No,
Yeah,
that
seriously,
is
Google it.
crazy.
Like, just Google Dr. Christian, Arlene Foster once you get a minute. It is the weirdest thing ever.
Well, I mean, the thing is as well is that obviously, and far be it from me to step into sort of the political climb of the of Northern Ireland, as it were, but DUP, obviously, do they still have somebody basically believes that the Earth is 5,000 years old?
Yeah.
Running it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm just gonna say the guy's name, and I was explaining it to Andrea. Jeffrey Donaldson.
Yes.
Yes,
There we
that's
go.
all we're gonna say in that. But he is one of the last dinosaurs, and hopefully he has his day in court, literally. But that's all we're gonna say because we don't want to mess up the whole investigation. But if and when it does happen, it'll be like the Berlin Wall falling. And I
Wow.
do mean that, like it'll, because generally, like, you obviously remember Ian Paisley.
Yes.
So Ian Paisley
Yes.
famously said when the troubles were happening, Catholics are breeding like rats.
Oh dear.
And
Yes.
his whole slogan was never, like, do you know what I mean? He was like just crazy. It was just a mad religious man that was in charge of the whole company, hated Catholics.
Yeah.
But he's been dead for a long time, God rest him, choosing to be a bigger person.
There you go.
But Jeffrey Donaldson is one of kind of the last remaining dinosaurs, so hopefully
He
we've got some new blood coming through.
if you were to Google Ian Paisley, you'd think it would be a caricature, wouldn't you? You'd think it'd be a character created by Steve Coogan or something, you know. But
No, he actually does. He looks like somebody that owned a bookstore in one of Stephen King's books. Honestly, yeah. Ironically, Derry, that's where all the books are based. In Ireland, you obviously were Derry girls.
Yes.
So yeah, so we also call it Stroke City because it's called Derry. So the Catholics would call it Derry, Protestants would call it Londonderry.
Oh yeah.
So ironically, you'd be working in Derry selling books. But yeah.
Mark
That's
Steele,
another
the
one,
comedian.
yeah.
He says
What
it
is it?
sounds like a stutter when you hear it coming in now into Derry, Londonderry, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a guy I do comedy with, Luke McGibbon, and he does a joke. My brother is from London, or as people from Derry call it. And it's just silence. And I was like, that is unbelievable.
Brilliant. While we're on the subject of embarrassing politicians, and obviously Andrea and I can regale endlessly about these sorts of individuals. We've spoken about Jeffrey Donaldson. Are there other individuals? Well, of course there are. I mean, there's going to be, aren't they? But
well, Northern Ireland's one of the only places in the world where our leaders used to be political prisoners. That's generally true. Yeah, used to. Like, so what would have happened? And it's like a lot of the Sinn Féin guys, they were in prison, you know, acts of terrorism, allegedly. But they got out of the Good Friday Agreement and they started running being MLAs, and then now they're head of the parties. But it is crazy that they have murdered people. But they're good, they're politicians now, you know what I mean? They've reformed, they're wanting a better Northern Ireland, but it's so crazy. I'm trying to think as well if there's any like, oh, there is a guy called Edwin Poots, and he
he was going to be leader of the DUP, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was the first minister, no joke, for about 2 weeks. He doesn't believe in like blood transfusions. He's like a flat earther. Said dinosaurs didn't exist.
Terrific.
Yeah. But his son, I won't say his name, but you can Google him. His son got done for drink driving, and he was a conspiracy theorist during COVID. And his son is from the town where I'm from, so I would see this guy, and I'm just like, this guy's crazy. Like, his dad is like a senior politician, and he's getting done for drunk driving and saying the vaccines are going to kill us. Like, it's hilarious.
Gracious.
Yeah. But yeah,
What
all
do-
our politicians are characters. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Funny enough, the person who's likely to be our next prime minister probably isn't. But there's a sort of side to him. I mean, this is something else I was going to cover as well, which is following on from the right wingers sort of problems that they're having. Another, you remember we spoke a couple of weeks ago about a Conservative MP crossing the floor to Labour.
Yeah.
Another one's done it.
Oh.
It's a woman called Natalie Elphick, who's the MP for Dover.
Uh-huh.
Now that's a problem. It's a bit of a problem because she's actually quite a right-wing sort of MP. And like a few people in Labour are saying, well, hang on, I know we're a broad church and all that, but we've got to be able to sort of say no to somebody, right? Not just people going to go, I'll join your group. Yeah, okay, I'll join your group. Yeah, okay. And she says so because she's saying that the UK, or rather Rishi Sunak, has failed to control the borders. You know, the Rwanda scheme is terrible. It's a crap scheme, which it definitely is. Although she did say in April last year that the scheme is sound, it's absolutely no problem, and Labour have no clue. So she's obviously changed her mind on that. But this is one of the problems, right? Because they said to her, have you changed your mind then? Now, obviously, the answer is yes. And I think it's okay to say yes. People change their minds all the time. It's a sign of intelligence, isn't it, really? And she says, oh, no, it's just that circumstances have changed. And you're like, no wonder people don't listen to what politicians have to say. Why don't you just admit it? I've changed my mind. I thought it was a good idea. It's now a bad idea. We've all done it.
Yeah.
Sorry, rant over.
I like that the one thing that we all have in common is that all of our politicians are crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit comforting in a way that we have that sort of universal thing, although I wouldn't wish it for any of us.
Yeah.
But here we are. We're all in that same boat together. And hopefully that boat isn't on the Thames, because apparently the Thames is a little worse for wear these days, shall we say, if we like to use a euphemism.
Yeah.
Matt, I heard that they have this swimming competition that they normally do in the Thames, and they're not going to do it this year because the water quality is so bad. So I'm curious, how much would somebody have to pay you to swim in there?
You mean how much would somebody have to pay me to get E. coli and norovirus, which is apparently it is swimming in the Thames quite happily. So yeah, we've got a lot of that. I mean, you got to be talking porn star hush money, right?
Yeah. Nice big check. You got to have not from the campaign funds, I know you guys have in Belfast, you have the River Lagan.
The River Lagan. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Would you swim in that?
If my mum and dad were drowning in it, I wouldn't save them. And I mean that. It's terrible. Do you know, and this, I swear to God, this is real. Somehow a seal got into the River Lagan and used to swim up and down it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it lived?
Yeah, it used to live in the Lagan. But it's another one, like there's so, like, you would probably get E. coli.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it's kind of sad. The River Lagan where I live in Lisburn, everybody kills themselves there. So yeah.
So by going in, you mean?
Yeah, basically, no, it's one of them ones where they're like really depressed and they're like, you know what, I've been in here, I'm not depressed anymore. I feel disgusting. I want to get out of here. But no, it's crazy. So it is, yeah.
Healing water.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a river in the middle of town here in Austin. It's called a lake, but really it's just a big river kind of going through the middle of town. And every once in a while they say, yeah, there's some kind of flesh-eating bacteria going on in here, so maybe don't let your dog swim in it. Maybe you guys stay out for a little while.
All right, back up. Beg your pardon. Back up. This sounds like, this sounds like another Stephen King thing. Flesh-eating bacteria.
Yes. It's exactly what it sounds like, and it's bad. You don't want that.
That's a low budget horror film. That's what that is.
It really is. But yeah, everybody, if you're gonna swim, maybe do it in a bathtub.
Yeah.
Safest way to do it. You don't want your dogs in there because, then they might have to pop a cap in their ass, like Christine Alm. There you go. Full circle.
Oh, Max.
While we're both here, and you'll forgive me, Andrea, we're kind of ganging up two Brits against one, two British Irish. Yeah. Is that fair? Is that fair for me to call you British Irish? I don't know if you referred to yourself as Irish.
Just Irish. Sorry.
Just Irish. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But two people that have, shall we say, a say within even that sort of, yeah. Okay, I'm landing myself in even more trouble here, but basically that we may be heading towards Keir Starmer as Prime Minister. How is your how are you feeling about that, Adam? Let me put it that way.
I'm going to be brutally honest. I had no idea who she was up until 10 minutes ago, generally. But is she
Well, for a
conservative?
start, it's a he.
Okay, see what I mean? Ignorance is bliss. But is she Labour, or I did it again? Is he Labour or is he Conservative?
He's Labour.
Well, I suppose it would be good for a change of Labour. Because am I right in saying the last Prime Minister that was Labour, was it Gordon Brown?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's 2008. Like that's nearly 20 years. You may as well round it up. There has to be some sort of change. Like obviously in America, Trump was Republican and then Biden's conservative.
He's a Democrat.
Democrat. So yeah, and it's good in the sense where you actually can change it every 4 years, whilst it's like, no, the Tories are just here forever.
Yeah, I mean, if Donald Trump gets his way, then he's going to try to make the rules so that, he can run for a third term and, kind of do the Vladimir Putin thing.
Yeah.
We might be throwing people out of windows before we know it. But I mean, at least we do have the, as bad as it is, at least, well, in 4 years we can try again.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have it on the calendar. I'm really baffled, Matt, that you guys, it's so, sort of free form. It's
yeah.
I'll let you know. I'll get back to you on that. It's like, it's not brunch, like it's an election, like schedule it.
I keep getting nervous, Andrew. Help me out here. I keep getting nervous seeing things about Trump being ahead in just about every poll that matters. And I know you calmed me down before. Can you reassure me, or is the thing starting to look a bit grimmer?
I still have hope.
Okay, good.
Because when you look at polls and you look at voting, those are two different things, So
right.
Let's take Indiana, for example. Indiana, where Mike Pence is from, who is a dude that is, if possible, whiter than the two of you.
Okay.
He's
Racist white. Yeah, he's an albino.
He's an extremely white dude. So he was governor, I think, of Indiana, and was Trump's vice president. And so obviously he comes from a very conservative state.
Yeah.
1/5 of the people who voted in the Republican primary in Indiana voted for Nikki Haley, who hasn't been running for a couple of months now. She's been out of the race for a couple of months, and she's still getting this sizable amount of votes. And it's like, there's no one else who is running that you can vote for, and people are like registering this protest vote. So I think that's an interesting data point. So I see the polls just like you, Matt, and every time I do, I pick up a drink. I'm sure you do too. That's the thing to do. And I'm not completely relaxed, but I don't think we are 100% screwed yet. There is a lot that can happen in the last few months of the election. Who knows what's going to happen with this trial? I mean, people have been forced to listen to a description of Trump going to the bone zone, and
jail.
It's like,
jail.
Do you know, being Trump, you have to say what is admirable about Trump. He is the greatest supervillain of all time.
Yes.
Like, this man has been impeached 3 times. He's like, do you know what it is? Try and catch me, bitch.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like the US government is Al Pacino and he's Robert De Niro in Heat.
Yes.
That is what Donald Trump is. You know what I mean?
Exactly. He has the nickname Teflon Don.
Yeah.
For a reason. He's good at wiggling out of things, but with the sheer volume of crime happening, it feels like he commits a new crime every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
They're bound to get him sooner or later, right? I don't know. I try to have hope.
Yeah.
Try to stay optimistic, but I am drinking.
Yeah.
It's the only answer. Sometimes it is the only answer. Yes. Provided it's not water from a stream or
the Thames or the River Lagan.
Yes. Or the Thames, yes.
Yes, exactly. All right, well, fellas, I think we should probably wrap it up for today. It's getting late in the day over there for Matt, and it's early in the day over here. You have a lot of like going out to go drinking to do.
Yep,
which
yeah,
is
I'm going to use
exciting.
my Irish charm and come back with cirrhosis of the liver, scare my mum.
Good, you got that to look forward to. That'll help keep your mind off the politics stuff. Adam, I want to thank you so much for being here. It's been a delight.
Thank you so much, guys.
Everybody go and check out the Short Back and What's Happening podcast on YouTube to see more of Adam, and we will link to that in the description. We also have the lovely Matt here holding it down over in London. If you need some more Matt in your world, and we all do, go to the Interesting Times UK on YouTube. We will also link to that in the description so you can get to him easily. Subscribe to all 3 of our channels to perform the hat trick of user engagement. And thank you all so much for listening and watching. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.